Welcome, everyone. My name is David Younger. I'm an associate director here in the Study Abroad office. With me today to present on the Toledo program are our on-site director for the Toledo program, Professor Yuki Okazaki, as well as associate director of Study Abroad, Maggie Hook, who will be taking management of this program starting this semester. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Yuki. And Yuki, just let me know when you want me to advance the slide and I'll take care of it for you.
Thank you so much, Dave. Hi, greetings from Toledo, Spain. I'm so happy to see you and so happy to know that you are interested in participating in our program for next spring. Okay, this is one of the wonderful views that you can see from our building. We are just in the heart of the old area of Toledo, right? Oops, could you please? Yes. Okay, quickly, I would like to talk about our institution, Fundación Ortega y Gasset Gregorio Marañón. We call it FOM, which is easier, FOM, F-O-M. So it's a private nonprofit institution devoted to cultural activities, debate, and research for the dissemination of the social sciences, humanity, and health sciences. And inspired by the figures, one of them, Jose Ortega y Gasset, philosopher and essayist. The other one is Gregorio Marañón, as a doctor and historian. Could you please, David? And our institution formed in Toledo, as you can see, it is just in the heart of the old city of Toledo. Okay, so, and then the river you can see is a real Tahoe River. Thank you. And okay, the phone in Toledo. Our study abroad started in 1982. So the next year, we're gonna celebrate our 40 years anniversary, which is very great. We are very happy. And our building, it's just like 2 or 3 minutes away from the cathedral that you can see there. And our building is a 16th century convent. Toledo is known as a city of 3 cultures for the cultural influences of Christian, Muslims, and Jews. And it's a World Heritage Site since 1986. The thing is, it's a medieval, very small city with almost 85,000 people, but it's very close from the capital, Madrid, just like a 30 minutes away by a high-speed train. So you can enjoy, being in the historical medieval, museum city, like Toledo, then just take a train and go to Madrid and have a different type of with different types of museum, and also it's very easy for you to take a trip outside of Spain too, and inside. Thank you. Dave, please. And here we are. This is our team. The one up there is me, and we have 2 student coordinators, Paco and Jose Luis. And Miguel is the assistant director, and also he teaches internship course. And Mila is in charge of housing, and Javier is in charge of computer and the library stuff. So all of us with a long time experiences, because for example, I started working at the Fundación in 1994. And actually, I was a student twice, 490 and 491. And Miguel started working here at the firm in 1997, like that. So we know very well about this institution and what we do. Thank you, Dave. And here you can see some pictures of our building. For example, our building, the Fundación FOM in Toledo, is a building with a facility with as dorm. And also we have classrooms and dining rooms, library, laundry, and study spaces, and PC rooms. And of course, we have a Wi-Fi services. And then we have a reception. So the building is open about almost for 24 hours, not every day, but almost 24 hours. And then we have our individual, maybe single, double, and then triple rooms, as you can see, photo. And then you can see also the other beautiful side of from our building. And also you can see the picture of our dining rooms. Unfortunately, the students cannot have our students cannot have lunch, neither dinner like this because of COVID protocol. But normally, the dining room is very full with the students. Thank you,
Hopefully
Dave.
that will change
Yes, I hope
when COVID is
so.
over, by the time you guys get
Yes,
there.
yes. Normally we have like two students, by each table. Okay, so you can choose between living at the dorm or living with a homestay or the family. We have about 100 families available. And then, okay, starting with the dorm. As we have told you, our dorm, our building is just 2-3 minutes away from the cathedral. And we have three types of rooms, and then you can choose, apply between these three types of rooms. So we try to assign you according to your request. And then the room cleaned from Monday to Friday, and the once a week, normally on Tuesday, the seats and towels are changed. And so you don't have to bring neither towels and the sheets because we provide you with them. And the homes.
Yuki, you muted yourself inadvertently.
Excuse me
go.
now. I'm so
Yep.
sorry.
No worries.
Okay, thank you so much. So if you apply for living with a family, you need to sign up you just fill up the form for that, and based on your request, we find a family. For example, if you say, I prefer to live with a family with children, or without children, or you don't mind, or near Fundación, or I get allergy to animals, or the kind of stuff. So based on your information, we find a suitable family for you. And before the semester starts, for example, if the spring semester, by I think by the December 15, we will send out the information of your family. Okay, and you can have lunch, and you have 3 meals per day. Okay, so but you need to have breakfast and always a dinner with your family. But you can choose the lunch from Monday through Thursday, between eating with your family or at the Fundación, because you have classes from Monday through Thursday, so you can choose to eat with your family or at the Fundación. And also you will receive a monthly bus pass. And also if it's very difficult to adapt a new situation. And the first, especially at the beginning, it's very difficult to speak in Spanish or to get used to your family's lifestyle. But if you try and if you don't feel comfortable, we will find the family for you. And before moving to a new family, you will meet your new family first. And then if you like them, then we start to prepare the change of your family. So we will assist you with any question and issues you might have. Thank you, Dave. And also we have a whole bunch of extracurricular activities because our program is a 100% linguistical and cultural immersion programs. So we think it's very important for you to participate in some activities in the community. For example, as volunteering, we have the opportunity of teaching English class at the local schools or language school, or you can play with local children in the local libraries, or or help with English lectures for Spaniards. Also, you can work for Red Alimenta, which is an NGO for leftover to bring the food for those who need because they have difficulties for the food. And also we have an ecological day when we go to the Rio Tahoe and pick up the garbage and the things. So and they also we do that with the local Spaniards. So it is a very perfect day for you to get immersed in the community, and also you collaborate with the cleaning up the Toledo city. And then we have a conversation exchange, and also we have a class of flamenco, Zumba, and also we offer like a Japanese class when if we have a Japanese student, and we actually have one for the spring semester. And we have activities running around the city, running around the Rio Tahoe, and we have intercultural sessions. And then, the whole, I'm not going to explain about all of these activities, but if you have any ideas to do something different from these, please let us know, because we are very willing to have different types of activities and, run by you. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, these are some pictures like up there. You can see the students, the garbage, after cleaning up the around the Rio. And yeah, these are pictures. Thank you, Dave. Yes. Yes,
So
please.
I actually left this off. I will cover application. You don't need to submit anything by October 15th. So let's disregard this for now.
All right. Okay, I will explain to you about what to do when you apply for our program, specifically in academic information. Okay, when you choose the courses, please make sure to choose courses offered for the spring semester, because the list we sent in Notre Dame, their name of courses for all year, like for fall, spring, and summer sessions. So please check only the ones for spring semester.
Or the fall semester if you're accepted for the fall.
I mean, so sorry, spring semester. Yes, spring semester.
Spring or fall, whichever semester you're accepted for. You just make sure you select.
Yes, if it's a minute. Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
And also, it's very important for you to choose courses to be validated for your major or minor. It's very important for you to know that before. And also, please make sure to write mandatory or obligatory next to the course name, because if there are not enough number of students, we might cancel the class. So it is very important for us to know if even there's one student, if he or she needs to take that class, we will offer the class. So please write down next to the course name mandatory if it's the case. And also, I ask you to make sure to choose some alternative courses because of that, because there might be some courses canceled. So please make sure to write down some alternative courses, which is very important, at least 3 or 4. I mean, 3 is fine. And then afterwards, I will send the definitive course list by the end of November so that you can ask your counselor in the case that some of your course are canceled, ask for the other opportunity to take. Okay. Once you are here at the phone on the second day of arrival, you will have a placement test, and then afterwards you have an individual interview with the professor to register for the registration, where you are receive the class, let's say the course timetable, yes, the class timetable, and you have a 1 week to add or drop the classes you have chosen. The courses are offered from Monday to Thursday from 8:40 to 9:35. So we have excursion on Fridays, and you have a weekend off. Thank you, Dave. And then here are some course lists. You can see here the name of the Spanish area, and the other one is literature. And here, the Spanish Golden Age Theater, for example, it's 30 to 15. We have a day, there's one day when the students of this course go to the theater in Madrid to enjoy the one classical piece of theater. I mean, yes. And yes, please, again, please. Yes.
So I will show you in my part of the presentation, everyone. I will show you where to look for these classes in
Yes.
in the Notre Dame catalog, so you know where to find those.
Thank you. And there's some like the art ones and the politics and history. For example, art 32, 33, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish art Toledo. The course, each class has 2 times a week. For example, this course, Christian, Muslim, Jewish art Toledo. The first class in the week, you go out to Toledo or the old area of Toledo to see the building, what you have learned the last week. Okay, and then afterwards, in the second class of the week, you have a classroom, a theory class. So you enjoy, you learn first the theory, then you go out and see with your own eyes, which is very interesting. And the master painters of Spain, the other one, we go to the museum in Madrid at least once a semester to go to the Prado Museum and Reina Sofia Museum. Yes, thank you. You can see the rest of the courses offered for the spring. Yes, yes, and then you can see internships in Toledo and a community engagement in immigrant experience, that which I will explain later. For example, internships. You have a class just once a week, then you work 8 hours per week with a site organization, for example, at the library, schools, museum, or local newspapers, or regional parliament, or tourism, or Red Cross. If you are interested in taking internships, you have to hand in the application as soon as possible. So Miguel, as an instructor, will find you your site. And then the second day of your arrival, you will have an interview with Miguel to decide, to decide your final site. Then afterwards, he will go with you to your site on the first day to explain how to get to the site, and then to introduce your how to say the person who you work with. Thank you. The community engagement. This course, the students will work 3 hours per week, normally with a Red Cross or YMCA, with immigrants, directly or indirectly. Yes, and actually, this course, this 4th semester, we have 7 students, of which 5 are Notre Dame students. Thank you. And that's it. This is a wonderful view of Toledo, so I'm looking forward to seeing you soon in Toledo. Thank you so much.
All right. So let me get started with some of mine. So now that we've talked about the program, let's talk a little bit about what it costs and how the credits come back. On this program, on all of our programs actually, the cost is always the same. It's Notre Dame tuition plus room and board and a $750 study abroad fee. What does that include? That includes your tuition to the program and all of the ND course credits and grades that will come back. So every course that you take on this program that's approved by Notre Dame will come back with Notre Dame credits. Those are credits that will count towards graduation. If approved, they will count towards majors and minors and university requirements. And again, once I get through these slides, I'll show you on our website where you can find all of that information as well. As I mentioned, all those grades do count towards your overall GPA since these are classes that Notre Dame is considering and counting as its own. What else is included in your expenses is health insurance provided by GeoBlue. This health insurance will cover you in every country of the world except for the United States. So if you happen to be traveling to France over the weekend, you step off a curb and you roll your ankle, you're covered. You can see a doctor in France too, either way. What isn't covered by the program cost is any visa fees that would be needed to apply for a visa, any independent travel, of course, that you decide to undertake during your semester, and books and course materials. What's also not included is round trip travel. Just like your tuition and fees and housing and whatnot don't get you from Kansas City or Los Angeles or Miami or wherever it is that you're from to campus here, you're going to need to get yourself to Toledo as well. But we will provide information for that. So let's talk a little bit about how to apply. First thing I want you to do is check out Study Abroad 101, and I'll show you where to get to that when I get to the website portion of this after these few slides. But check out Study Abroad 101. It's going to explain how study abroad works at Notre Dame, how awesome it is. It's also going to talk about all of our different programs, as well as tips and tricks and things like that for submitting a grade application. The next thing we want to make sure that you do is apply for a passport. If you already have one, make sure that it will last for the entire time that you're abroad, and as well as up to 6 months after the program end date. So if you're looking at spring of 23, you want to make sure that it's good for the end of 2023. Otherwise, people may not let you in through the border, or they may not grant you the visa that you would need to enter for the semester as a student. So make sure that you apply for a passport or renew your current one. One also helpful tip is to suggest that your family members, whether that's one parent or both, also get a passport. It provides them with the opportunity to hopefully come and visit you during the experience abroad. Another part of the application is college and DUS approvals are required. What these approvals are, they're not references, they're simply opportunities for you to engage in conversation with your DUS and your advising deans to make sure that by going on this program, you will still graduate within 4 years. That you'll have a conversation about what your academic plan is, what your majors are, what courses you've taken so far, what types of courses you should think about taking while abroad, to make sure that that graduation progress is not hindered in any way by studying abroad. Finally, there's application instructions on our website as well, and then that note about competitive programming. So you can apply to up to 2 programs with us in study abroad. If you apply to more than one, on the first business day following the deadline, so following November 1st, whether that's November 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, we will reach out to you and say, you've applied to more than one program, please rank your choices with us. And so you will rank one program 1 and another program 2, and we will review them in that order to see how if we can place you into your first choice first. So let's talk a little bit more about the application. Up on your screen are the short answer questions. If you've applied with us before, or if you've talked to upperclassmen, you'll know that this is a departure a little bit different from what we've requested before. So 3 short answer questions instead of 1 long one. And you can see the questions on your screen. I won't necessarily read those to you. One of the questions that we also ask in our application is a question for any additional information. So maybe you've had an issue regarding conduct or community standards that you want to tell us about. Maybe when you first came in, you said, you know what, I'm going to major in engineering. I'm going to major in pre-med. And then quickly that first semester, you realized, you know what, this isn't for me. And your grades might have suffered. Let us know that too. Are there any special considerations? For instance, maybe you're a native speaker of Spanish. And so when we look at your application, we will be able to check your transcript to see that, okay, wow, the student hasn't taken any Spanish yet. and they're not enrolled in any for next semester. Maybe a special consideration is that you're a native speaker of Spanish, or it's a first language for you or second language for you already. And let us know that too, because otherwise we might look at your application and go, they don't have the requisite amount of language, and we would hate for that to happen to you. Of course, if you have any dietary needs or accessibility concerns about any of our programs, this one or any other, please do let us know so that we can work with you to discuss any possible accommodations abroad, whether that's something mobility related or testing related or anything in between. So my contact information is up on the screen there. Maggie Hook will be taking over this program. So if you reach out to me or to Maggie, we can make sure that we get in touch with you. And now what I will do is I will pull up a tab for all right, so everybody should be familiar with our website here. Obviously, to get to the programs, the first thing you're going to do is go to programs. But before we get there, go back to getting started and Study Abroad Compass. This is where you can find Study Abroad 101. Going through Study Abroad 101 will take you about an hour tops if you read every word and you watched every video. This will take you to Study Abroad 101. And again, I highly recommend that you go through that. The next thing is under programs. You can simply select semester programs. You can filter by region if you want. And we can do that to shorten the list. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom. Here is Toledo. Okay, there's some great information here. Learn more. All these pages about the Toledo program give a lot of extra information. We link to La Fundación right here. We talk a little bit about our student experience, our students' experiences in the program, information about costs, program logistics, as well as requirements of the program, and then finally apply. Here is where you will apply. You'll scroll down and click that apply now button. You'll log in with your net ID and password, and you're off to the races at that point. A quick note about the application is you don't have to finish it all in one sitting. You can take as much time as you want. You can start it today, come back to it tomorrow or next week. Just make sure that it's in by on or by November 1st. Finally, I did promise you all I would show you how to navigate the courses. So you're going to come back to the programs tab here and you're going to select courses. From here, you're going to open this document This particular document, a lot of people are initially freaked out by because they see that it's nearly 900 pages. So let me give you kind of the navigational tools to mitigate this. It's all bookmarked. Okay, so you can sort by location. In this case, we're just going to scroll all the way down here till we get to Toledo. And now you will see all the different classes that Notre Dame students have taken before in Toledo. You should not build a course list from this list because some courses are only offered in fall, some are only offered in spring. And this is a historical list as well. Some of these courses may actually be taught anymore. The faculty member who taught that may have retired or moved on, or the class may have evolved in some way. But what this list can do for you is provide you a general idea of the types of courses that students have taken abroad. The other thing is you'll be able to look at the course attributes, as you can see here. And these course attributes will tell you, what types of university requirements you can expect to fulfill while you're abroad. Maybe that's the social science or an art course or the history requirements. There's all kinds of options here. So this will be your guide to the types of courses you can take. Again, you can't plan and build a list from this just yet, but it'll at least give you a good sense of it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We've thrown a ton of information at you. And I just want to open it up to questions at this point. So feel free to drop them in the chat, either privately to either Yuki or myself, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question into the void.
I have a question.
Sure.
I just want to make sure all the classes are in Spanish, right?
Sí.
Okay, perfecto. Gracias.
De nada. Anyone else with questions?
I was just wondering how competitive the study abroad programs are to get into, because I just haven't heard about how hard they are.
So it can really vary. This is a great question. It can really vary from year to year. It depends on how many students end up applying to certain programs. And so some of the programs I've seen large numbers of students apply to, and we typically have what we can place into an organization or with a third-party provider or partner institution, whoever we're working with. We typically have a limited number of spaces that we can accept per semester. So it's difficult to say how selective the Toledo program will be moving forward into this year, because I don't have any historical data on that. I haven't managed this program prior to this year, so I don't have any history to lean on. But secondly, and more importantly, it depends on how many students actually end up applying. The one thing I will say is if you put another program that is highly competitive as your second choice, let's say, for instance, you're putting Toledo as your first choice, but you're putting London as your second. London is one of our most competitive programs because so many people apply for it. So if you end up putting London as your second choice, essentially what you're telling our office is, you know what, put me on the wait list for London. That may not be a bad thing, but it may not also be what you want. And so it just depends on what you're looking for. Oftentimes, students who are applying to the Toledo program will also be looking at the Puebla program or the Santiago program, because they're looking at programs that offer things in Spanish, and both of those programs also offer coursework in Spanish. And so we will see a lot of people who end up putting those in some combination for first and second choice. So of those three programs, Toledo is probably our most selective, but they're all excellent programs. So I want to go back to sure, no problem. I want to go back to the other question that was just asked a moment ago about if courses are taught in Spanish. Yes, they are taught in Spanish, but let me add one extra thing to that, and that is if it's a course taught in Spanish, but also in political science, you might be able to get either type of credit for it, whether that's Spanish credit or political science credit. You'll have to talk to your Spanish DUS or your political science DUS to get clarification on. But it could be possible to do either one. Are there other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I also had a question about, so the classes that you showed offered on the screen, are those the only ones that are offered, or is there like a lot? Like, are there other classes as well?
The ones I showed on the screen, which time?
During you showed
presentation, or when I was
during Yuki's presentation.
So I think I'll let Yuki speak for herself on that one, but I think those courses are the courses that are being offered this year. And okay. so they might be like I was mentioning in the spreadsheet or the PDF that I showed you before. Some of those classes might evolve into something else. Somebody might retire and somebody else come in and they want to teach something to their specialty. But I think by and large, a majority of those courses, if not all of those courses, should be available this year.
Okay.
Did I answer that right, Yuki?
Yes, Dave.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Just kind of going off of what you just said. So if the two programs I'm looking at a lot are Toledo and Rome, which I know is also another really competitive one, and I put Toledo as my number one, would it make sense for me to even put Rome as my number two, or should I just apply to Toledo then?
I will tell you this, because I manage the Rome program, I know the history there. The Rome program will fill, at least in the spring semester, with its first choice applicants. Okay. It is possible that if you are able to go in both semesters, that Rome in the fall could be possible for you. But it's impossible to tell now what that will look like, because it just depends on how many students end up applying.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And I just have a question about so we'll apply for whatever semester we want, like fall or spring, right? But if we I'm assuming spring is probably more popular. So
spring is more competitive than fall in virtually all of our programs. One of our programs, there's a notable exception, and that's Puebla, where fall is actually more competitive because it's a pre-med program in the fall.
Oh, okay.
Puebla. But yes, in general, spring is more selective than the fall.
Okay, so if you don't get into a spring program, can you apply it to fall as well, or do you just have to pick beforehand?
No, this is a great question. Absolutely. So when you apply, one of the questions in the application is, would you be able to go in an alternate term? Meaning, so if you put spring as your first choice and that's what you applied to, you can put fall as an alternate term, and yes, you can indicate if you can or cannot participate in that term.
Okay, perfect.
So, and the added clarification I'll add here as well is if you're applying to 2 programs, we consider your first choice program in both terms before we consider your second choice program.
Okay. Can we specify if like we want like our first choice, then second choice for like spring and then fall, like second? Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes. So when you apply, you actually have to choose a semester. So if you click that apply button that I showed you on the Toledo page, you'll have to choose a semester once you've logged in, and that will be your first choice. And then in the questionnaire itself, it's asking about the alternate term, and you can indicate fall at that point.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem at all.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for today. So thank you everyone for attending. And we will make this recording available early next week. And so please do send us any questions or comments that you have, and we will do our best to help you out. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
attending.